And Yeshua said that those who take up the sword will die by the sword. And see, for those who don't know the will and the word of the God of Israel, it will cost them their lives, because they're going to try a non-biblical solution to the problems of the time. The biblical solution is to ask the way to Zion and to leave Babylon and return to the land of Israel. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 4. In those days and in that time. What period of time are we talking about with the phrase, in those days and in that time? We're talking about the day of the Lord. In that day, the children of Israel will come, they and the children of Judah together. That's both houses of Israel, northern kingdom, southern kingdom. Going and weeping, that is repenting, they will go and they will seek the Lord their God. Who is the Lord their God? It's Yeshua the Messiah. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 6. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. How has the shepherds of Judaism caused the Jews to go astray? They're saying that Yeshua is not the Messiah. How has the shepherds of Christianity caused the sheep to go astray? They're saying that Yeshua is the Messiah, but don't follow Torah, don't keep the commandments. And so neither the shepherds in Judaism or Christianity is proclaiming a message that brings health to the exiles of Israel, which is the proclamation Yeshua is the Messiah and following Torah or keeping His commandments. So my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. You know where it says they've gone from mountain to hill? You know what that's a reference to? Church hopping. I'm not satisfied in this church. I'm going to go to another church. Oh, I'm not satisfied there. Maybe I can find the answer there. They're going from mountain to hill because they know they're searching for something, but they don't know what it is, and they're hoping they'll find it in the next place. Ultimately, what they're searching for is Zion. And when they find it, that's when you can have peace in your heart, because finding Zion is finding Yeshua the Messiah. Finding Zion is following Torah. Finding Zion is believing in the covenant that was made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So the people of the God of Israel flee Babylon and return to Israel at the fall of Babylon. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 16. For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn every one to his people, and they shall flee every one to his own land. For fear of the oppressing sword, for persecution, and for the calamities that are happening in the United States. So you that have escaped that sword, you know what that tells you? That we will not leave until the sword comes, because the prophecy says it's to those that escape the sword. Go away, stand not still, remember the Lord afar off, and let Jerusalem come to your mind. So the people of the God of Israel, they asked the way to Zion. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 4. In those days and in that time, says the Lord, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together, going and weeping, they shall go and seek the Lord their God. They will ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, Come, and let us join ourselves to the Lord in a perpetual covenant that will not be forgotten. What is this perpetual covenant that will not be forgotten? It is the covenant of peace of the Messianic era. It's Messiah ruling and reigning over His people, and there will no longer be any exile into the nations. That is the perpetual covenant that will not be forgotten. So what is the way to Zion? It is the oneness of the people of the God of Israel, dwelling in the land of Israel itself, following Torah, and keeping the commandments of the God of Israel, with Yeshua the Messiah being the one shepherd over His people. That is biblical Zion. So therefore, if the enemy is going to attack the God of Israel in His kingdom, you know what he needs to do? He needs to separate these things. And that is what has happened. Because Yeshua, being the Messiah, has been separated from the Torah, and even realizing that we're going to be called to return to the land of Israel in the end of days. But we have the Jewish people who believe in embracing Torah and believe that the land of Israel was given to them, but they don't believe that Yeshua is the Messiah. So there's a division in biblical Zion, and it's not until there is a unity with biblical Zion until we celebrate in a period of time known as the Messianic Era. The watchman is called to proclaim the message of let us go to Zion. Jeremiah chapter 31 verse 6. For there shall be a day, I would like to submit to you that day is today, that the watchman, I'd like to submit to you that the message that you're hearing is a watchman message. That the watchman upon Mount Ephraim will cry, arise and let us go to Zion unto the Lord our God. If you receive what you're hearing in this message, what you will do is you will go up to Zion. Now let's look at how the controversy of Zion is going to be played out in the end of days. What will happen is a replay of the events that came to be celebrated with Hanukkah, which is outlined in the book of Daniel. Let's see how this is so. There's a prophecy in Zechariah chapter 9 and verse 13 that says, when I have bent Judah for me and filled the bow with Ephraim. Guess what? You got the bow and the arrow together, Judah and Ephraim. That you got their unification. And it says regarding Judah and Ephraim, when I've raised up your sons, O Zion. The sons of Zion is Judah and Ephraim. I've raised up your sons, O Zion, against your sons, O Greece, and I made you as the sword of a mighty man. So the prophecy is the sons of Zion are going to oppose the sons of Greece. What we call this in our time, we call it more formally, the people that believe in the God of Israel and the covenant that was made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are being opposed by the New World Order system. The enemies of Israel are biblically called beasts of the field. The ruling Gentile powers are referred to as being beasts. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 16 and verse 22, it is written, and you shall consume all the people which the Lord your God shall deliver you. Your eyes shall have no pity upon them, neither shall you serve their gods, for that will be a snare unto you. And the Lord your God will put out those nations before you little by little. You may not consume them at once, lest the beasts of the field increase upon you. So because the nations of the world and the ruling Gentile powers in the Torah are likened unto beasts of the field, that's why in the book of Daniel, when we have a vision about the end of days in Gentile rulers, they're personified as beasts, the lion, the bear, the leopard, etc. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64. The Lord will scatter you among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there ye shall serve other gods, which neither you nor your fathers have known, even wood and stone. Ezekiel 34, verse 5. And they were scattered because there is no shepherd, and they became meat to all the beasts of the field when they were scattered. What does it say in Revelation chapter 13? There was a beast that rose up out of the sea. Beast, that means a Gentile ruling power. Now let's look at Daniel's vision of the ram and the goat. Remember, biblical history is prophecy. And so historically, there was a battle between the Grecian Empire against the Medo-Persian Empire. They fought against each other. And so Medo-Persia is represented by Iran and Iraq. And the Western world is personified by Greco-Roman culture. And so who is fighting now? We have Greco-Roman culture, the West, fighting against Iran and Iraq, Medo-Persia. Just as what happened historically. Daniel chapter 8, verse 1. In the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at the first. And I heard a man's voice between the banks of Uli, which called and said, Gabriel, make this man to understand the vision. And he said, Behold, I will make you know what shall be in the last end of the indignation, for at the time appointed the end shall be. The ram is Media Persia. Then I lifted up my eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram, which had 2 horns, and 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beasts or other Gentile rulers might stand before him, neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand, but he did according to his will and became great. The ram which you saw having 2 horns are the kings of Media and Persia. What I'm doing right now for you is I'm presenting to you what historically happened, so that you will understand what prophetically is to happen to come. Because what historically happened is what will happen in the end of days. And so the events in the book of Daniel come down to a Greek ruler named Antiochus Epiphanes, who committed what is referred to as an abomination of desolation, which resulted in a rebellion. This is going to be replayed in the end of days. Here we see a map of the reign of the Persian Empire and the areas that they had control of at the height of their power. Following the Media-Persian Empire, the Grecian Empire came into ruling and reigning. And the goat in Daniel chapter 8 is Greece. And I was considering, behold, a he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth and touched not the ground, and the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. And the rough goat is the king of Grecia, and a great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. And so ultimately this is the rise of the Grecian Empire, and the Grecian Empire ruled and reigned and dominated through Alexander the Great. The notable horn of the Grecian Empire in Daniel 8:5 refers to Alexander the Great. Alexander lived from 365 BC to 323 BC. As a young boy, Alexander studied the writers of the Greek philosopher Aristotle. At age 20, Alexander became the king of the Greek state Macedonia. Later, he went to war and conquered the Persian Empire. Alexander, I want you to catch this, Alexander believed that the Greek culture could unify the world. So what is being attempted in the New World Order system and the leaders of the New World Order system, which is governed with Western values and Western mindset, they're attempting to take these Western values, namely democracy, and want to bring these Western values of democracy and commerce and culture and secular humanism to the whole world. And this is designed and intended to unify the world. That's what the goal is. However, we know from biblical prophecy that this Tower of Babel is ultimately going to fall. He founded a new city in each country of his empire that would serve as a model for the furtherance of Greek culture. Public buildings, gymnasiums, open-air theaters, the spread of Greek names, Greek dress, and a common language, that is English, all were byproducts of the rule of the Greek Empire. I mean, we're talking English today. Back then it was the Greek language. The spread of the Greek culture was known as Hellenism.